that sounds outrageous, I'll come up and clarify. Don't worry. And for every point he raises, I assure you I'll do my best to answer them head on. I ask for the same from my friend Shmuley. Thank you, and God bless you.
Okay. Rabbi Shmuley, you have 15 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen. I'm slightly distracted because arriving in Pittsburgh rather than receiving the warm welcome of the Steel City, I discovered that a less than savory character, who actually has been a guest on my radio show twice, David Duke, has launched a ferocious attack against me on his website today, davidduke.com. Most famous racist in the United States, former Grand Wizard of the KKK. What could I have done to elicit the ire of so humane a man? And it turns out that I tried to integrate the poor black families of Hurricane Katrina, many of the evacuees, into middle-class white neighborhoods. I lost my radio show over that. That was a week ago. That was a big national story. And now all the racists are coming after me for writing an article saying it's time to integrate America. And I had to even give death threats that I received over the past 3 days to the FBI, one of which said, "Dear Kike, I can't wait to take your small kike head," had he said like hairy kike head, that would have been more accurate, and put a bullet through it because we don't want porch monkeys living next to our clean white neighborhoods in middle America. You see, folks, the history of bigotry, racial prejudice, is an ancient one. It was there at the beginning, and it'll be there at the end. Because only we can change it. Yes, Simon Wiesenthal died today. And I hosted him at Oxford University. It was one of the great honors of my life. A man of profound humility. And his family died. 45 members of his family were killed. And they had one sin of which they were guilty. They were Jewish. And in the same way that the black man was said to be cursed by God because he was the descendant of Ham, the Jews were said to be cursed by God for rejecting Jesus the Messiah. The Holocaust was the direct result of evenings like tonight. The direct result, where the Jews are made to feel spiritually inferior. Second-class citizens under God. No, not even second class. A race that will forever be punished for having rejected Jesus the Messiah. If you don't believe me, read Michael Brown's book, where he says explicitly, quote, "How then should we view the state of those, both Jews and Gentiles, who've never heard about the Messiah and the Savior? We should see them as people about to get on a plane we know will soon crash. They're all going to die. They're all going to die. It is remotely possible that one or two of the passengers will survive." This is a direct quote. "But for the most part, we can assume that just about everyone who gets on board will soon die." Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Brown is a friend of mine, and he's actually a good human being. But his repugnant spiritual views of the spiritual inferiority of his own people is an abomination before God. And it led directly to the Holocaust. Mike says it himself. He says, quote, on page 117 of Answering Jewish Objections to Jesus, quote, "The Messiah did come to bring peace, but why was there so much Christian anti-Semitism for 2,000 years? As a people, that's not their fault, folks. It's these damn Jews. But as a people, we missed the opportunity to receive him as our king. And we have been suffering the consequences ever since." That is a morally repugnant statement. Tell the black man he's responsible for slavery. Tell the woman who's raped that she wore a short dress with her bra showing, tell the Jew who was slaughtered that we have been suffering the consequences of rejecting Jesus. Yes, prejudice will be with us forever and ever. It will never go away. But I am part of a people that says that the black man is the equal of the white man because we're all created in the image of God. And I'm part of a religion that says that the Christian is my spiritual equal because it's not important how you get to God. It's important that you do get to God. I regret having to come up in front of you today and refute the messiahship of Jesus. Because I mean no disrespect to my Christian brothers and sisters who are my equals before God. And will have the same place as heaven as I do, if I earn it as an Orthodox Jew, through my actions rather than my faith. Because God will judge me by what I do and not by what I believe. Just as each and every one of you would never judge any person by their beliefs, but would judge them by how they behave. God is exactly the same. God will you don't marry a man who says he loves you but treats you like crap. You marry a man who treats you lovingly, who acts like a loving man. The idea that what you believe determines your place in heaven is an abomination. It is illogical, it's irrational, and not a single one of you would lead your life by it. If your parents never gave you love, you're going to say, my parents screwed me up, no matter how much they believed in loving you. It just doesn't work. But why have we Jews rejected Jesus? Ladies and gentlemen, and with limited time, I can only make limited points. Number one, the belief that God can be human in any form is repugnant to everything Judaism stands for. It is the main reason why so many Christians, as Michael Brown said, the original Christian community was Jewish. Of course, they all left Judaism, so did their descendants. They became Christians. That's why Jews for Jesus is the ultimate contradiction. No Jew who follows Jesus will be Jewish in the next generation. If they are, it's because they work for the organization and they have external Jewish symbols to try to show, don't be so afraid of Jesus, but none of them keep Judaism. This is the spiritual extinction of our people. Here's proof. Michael Brown is one of the people I most love and respect. It's crazy because we're big adversaries in debates, but he's a thoroughly good man, a deeply spiritual man. But there is, aside from his actual Jewish birthright, which is forever and it will never be taken away, there's nothing Jewish about him. Mike is a Christian. He runs a Christian missionary school. He is an ordained minister. He is only Jewish when he comes on this podium, and that's okay, because he'll be my Jewish brother forever and ever. But his children don't practice Judaism. And fine kids, very, very spiritual Christians, God bless them. But there is absolutely nothing Jewish about it. Period. Jews for Jesus does not work. It leads to the spiritual extinction of our people. Because, as I said, point number one, the belief that a man could be God is repugnant to everything Judaism stands for. Judaism sees such a belief as nothing but the mixture of paganism into monotheism. And that's when Mike said Jesus accomplished so much in his lifetime. Of course, that's not true. He left behind so few followers that you can count them on 2 hands, or perhaps 3 hands. It was Paul that really sold Christianity, because he mixed in the pagan idea that Jesus was God. Jesus called himself the Son of Man. It's only in the book of John that you really see him talking about himself as God. But then again, the book of John is very suspect because it's so deeply anti-Semitic. You have Jesus saying in the book of John things like John 8:44, you Jews are of your father the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning. Jews are all murderers. We've heard that before. They train Christian blood, mix it into their matzahs. Now you know what the origin of this stuff is. John 8:19, they said to Jesus, the Jews, where's your father? Jesus said, you know neither me nor my father. The Jews have no God. We've heard that too. Their God is money, folks, right? Straight from the book of John. And then, John 8:21. Again, he said to them, I go away. Jesus said to the Jews, I'm going away, but you Jews will seek me. You will die in your sin. Where I'm going, you cannot come. Jews are all condemned to hell. Mike Brown absolutely believes that righteous Jews who keep the Sabbath and who give charity, but who do not believe in Jesus, are going straight to hell. And ask him that question directly. You can lead a righteous life, there is no hope for you, just as it says here.